everyone, it's Sarah from The Walks of Life, and today we have a really tasty recipe for you, ginger beef. I actually blogged it the other day and my dad specifically was like, film it, so good, you have to show people how to make it. This recipe kind of is reminiscent of our very popular Mongolian beef recipe. If you haven't seen my dad's video for our Mongolian beef, check it out right here. We know you guys love crispy beef. This recipe has the soul of that recipe, but the most primary forward flavor is obviously ginger. It's gingery without being overpoweringly so. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with ginger growing up. My mom, she kind of would roughly chop it and you'd be eating it and you're enjoying, and then suddenly you bite into this big piece of ginger and it was like, ugh. As a young kid who was sort of feeling out my palate and like, ooh, do I like ginger, do I not? It was like really overwhelming to sort of bite into that big piece. This recipe showcases how you can use ginger to layer flavors. So we're gonna be using ginger in two ways in this dish. The first is we're gonna finely mince it and we're gonna put it in the sauce. The second way is julienne that ginger and then we're gonna fry it in the oil that I've used to fry the beef. So it's gonna caramelize, it's gonna get a little bit of that savory beef flavor, and then I'm just gonna grab a few pieces and I'm gonna shuffly garnish the top so that when you serve this dish to your guests or to your family, everybody can see there's ginger in the dish, it's ginger beef. So we're gonna start with the aromatics, the ginger and the scallion, and I'll start with the ginger and kind of give you a crash course on how to peel and julienne this. I like to peel the ginger with a spoon. I find that it actually wastes less ginger when you use a spoon than when you use a peeler. It's also like not a bad job to have kids try because the spoon is blunt and like they can't hurt themselves on it. So now that you've peeled the ginger, it's time to slice it. It's like gonna be wobbly. So you wanna make a flat side so that it stays stable. If you had them all like piled like this, your knife would sort of slip around. But if you just fan them out, they stay much more in place. So there's my julienne ginger. So I'm gonna just set some aside. And then now I'm going to take this remainder and I'm going to mince it crosswise. Keep the motion kind of loose and just like let the knife fall. And I feel like it's called like cooking show cliche to say like, do the claw, but like, yeah, like you're gonna kind of like curl your fingers under so they're not in the way of the knife and you're not gonna get cut. And there we have our minced and julienne ginger. Easy. For the scallion, I'm just going to cut the end off and then I'm just gonna cut it on a pretty sharp angle. And that's it. I'm slicing the beef now. I'm doing it on a sharp angle so I can get kind of like these wider slices. And then as you get to the end, it's gonna be tougher to do that angle cut, so I don't know. It's kind of just like, it's fine. You don't have to belabor it, just get it cut. Now we're gonna marinate. So let me wash my hands. I don't know if you wanna show the interior of our sink. That woman, that commenter was like, your sink is so gross. It's like, we live on a farm, lady. So to marinate the beef, first I'm gonna add water. So that's gonna sort of make the beef nice and juicy. And then I'm gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So the baking soda is gonna tenderize the meat. You really only need it to sit for like 20 to 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna add a couple of teaspoons of neutral oil. We're using avocado oil, but any oil that doesn't have a strong flavor is fine. And then some oyster sauce. It's like watching paint dry. And then cornstarch. Okay, and that's it. Then you mix it.
You're off the mark. Thank you. And action on ACAM.
Why are you Australian?
Go.
So I'm just gonna mix it with my hands until all of the marinade ingredients are incorporated. This process is called velveting, so this is gonna keep the meat really juicy. We're also gonna dredge it in cornstarch, and that's what's gonna create the crisp coating. So now we're gonna make the sauce. We're gonna start with 2/3 of a cup of water, add our minced ginger, so we have a tablespoon. Add a 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar and a tablespoon of light soy sauce, a tablespoon of oyster sauce. We should have a rule that when the oyster sauce gets this low, it's out of commission for blogging and filming. It's just so painful. 3/4 teaspoon of dark soy sauce. So this is what's gonna give the sauce that really dark, rich color. If you don't have dark soy sauce, check out our dark soy sauce substitution article, which we will link in the description box below. Finally, we need a half a teaspoon of sesame oil. So the beef is marinated for 30 minutes and now I'm going to dredge it. You can do this a couple ways. So you can do it like this. You're individually like really taking care with each one. Alternatively, you can do it like a few pieces at a time. So you just wanna make sure that you're not getting like folds where you're gonna miss parts. My dad likes to do this on a sheet pan just so you have more room. You can do that too. So I call for 1/3 cup to 1/4 cup of cornstarch in this recipe. I find that depending on how diligent you are about shaking off excess, sometimes you need a little more, sometimes you need a little less. I would just say start with 1/3 and then you can use extra if you need. People ask us like, how do you come up with your recipes? And really a lot of it is just like building off of like each other's like older work. And then of course we all critique each other. And I think that that ultimately gives us a better product for all of you. Now we can move to the wok, fry the beef, get it in the sauce, and finish this dish. I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of oil. We wanna make sure that we're able to spread the beef out in one layer, so that's why I'm spreading the oil. Turn the heat down a little bit. You don't want it smoking too hard. And once you've laid the beef down, don't disturb it. Just let it sit there. You want it to just form a nice crust. This beef should take about 1 to 2 minutes per side to fry. So I'm flipping the beef and we're gonna cook it again. At this stage, it's really important to get that like level of crispiness that you want. You want it to be like crisp and like firm before we move on to the next stage. I wanna leave as much oil in the wok as possible. So you can kind of pull the beef up and let it drain and then just slide it. Looks pretty crispy. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do the same thing with batch number 2. So now that I fried the beef and I've taken it out, I left the oil in the wok and I'm gonna fry the julienne ginger in it.
Oh my God, your ginger.
Oh, yeah, we can't be interrupted by banana bread in the middle of the shoot.
Yeah.
It's good. So this is what you want out of your ginger. You want it to be pretty crispy. So now we put all of the elements together. I've taken most of the oil out. I've left about 2 tablespoons in there and I'm going to add the premixed sauce. So you might be wondering why I kept some oil in the wok when I'm just adding liquid ingredients rather than stir frying something else. The oil in the sauce is actually gonna give it that like really nice sheen to the beef at the end. You can leave it out if you're trying to reduce oil, but if you want it to have that restaurant look, leave it in. We're at a simmer with the sauce and now we can thicken it. So I have my cornstarch slurry here. I'm not gonna add quite all of it because I don't know if I'll need all of it. You want it to be pretty thick because it should coat the beef. This isn't like a saucy dish. It should just all be clinging to the beef. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the beef back. And I'm gonna add most of the fried ginger, but I'm gonna leave some pieces behind for garnish. And scallions. I'm ready to plate. So as you can see, the sauce is all just clinging to the meat. Okay, so now I'm gonna garnish it with that reserved fried ginger.
Yeah, that looks really good.
It's like chefy. I'm doing chef stuff. And there you have it, ginger beef. It's a very nice, sort of like faint ginger smell. Like it's not like hitting you in the face. It's a perfect balance. It's like a little bit sweet, a little bit gingery. The ginger is like definitely there, but it's not overpowering.
I gotta eat it with the ginger strips.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. My mouth is pretty happy right now. It has a lot of stuff going on. It has a little bit of crunchiness to the beef. And the beef itself inside is very tender. The balance of the sweetness, the ginger, and the soil, it's pretty on mark.
You heard it right here, Asian parent approved.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out more recipes at theboxoflife.com.